When we talk about zombies, the things that first come to your minds are probably this, which are always associated with death, ghosts, or even monsters, all kind of scary stuff. Zombies reportedly originated from Haiti. A zombie is an animated corpse raised by magical means, such as witchcraft. In the modern world, a zombie is a fictional, undead corporeal revenant created through the reanimation of a corpse. Or is it? I mean, is it really fictional? In this video, we're going to dive into the latest scientific journals and the evidence on zombies to answer this question. Are zombies possible? From a scientific perspective? First, we need to understand the word zombie. According to a Cambridge dictionary, a zombie is a frightening creature, that is a dead person who has been brought back to life, but without human qualities. Zombies are not able to think, and they are often shown as attacking and eating human beings. While zombification is an instance or the process of turning into a zombie, or the process of making or becoming zombie-like, according to Collins' dictionary. By these definitions, we can divide zombies into two types. One that is dead, but being brought back to life. Another one is a living person having so-called zombie phenotypes. They are slow, stiff, unresponsive to words or pain. They have limited speech and most probably aggressive. They will most likely try to attack or eat you, literally. Let's talk about the first type of zombie. Imagine if you died, touch wood, being buried in a cemetery, and after a few hours or days, you come back to life and crawled out from the coffins. Congratulations, that officially makes you a type 1 zombie. But is the reversal of death scientifically possible? In 2019, neuroscientist Dr. Nenad Sestan and his team out of Yale University provides a further evidence that a time gap exists between actual death and cellular death. In this seminal study, these researchers were able to restore partial function in the pig brains 4 hours after their head was severed from their bodies. The new system they developed, called BrainX, kept the brains in far better shape, restoring functions such as the ability to take in glucose and oxygen for up to 6 hours at a time. Brain areas that are especially sensitive to oxygen loss, such as hippocampus, also preserved well under the BrainX, as did the structure of the individual neurons. Researchers found that the brain was making carbon dioxide and using up glucose and oxygens. Those are the signs of brain metabolism restarting. Does this mean that the dead pig is awakened? Not quite exactly. The team added compounds in a solution to block neural activity to ensure that the brains would not wake up in any way due to ethical reasons. Simply put, the brain is working but not aware. Kind of like a zombie who has a working brain but not really aware of what's going on in the surroundings. So, we can technically reverse death. That makes our type 1 zombie possible, right? However, this technique was developed so it could give a major boost to studies of human health by providing a rich testbed for studying brain disorders and diseases. In other words, it is still a long way to go to successfully revive a person from death. Next, let's talk about the second type of zombie. We shall call it type 2 zombie, which is a living person exhibiting zombie-like behaviors, can be met through different ways. There are thousands of cases of human zombies being reported across the world. Drugs, virus, illness, prions, or even little fungi are responsible for these zombie phenotypes. These factors are responsible for making changes in different parts of the brain, which ultimately causes zombie phenotypes. Drugs like PCP may affect your brain system and cause hallucination. It has been reported that PCP has led to anthropophagy incidents, or as known as people eating. Is zombie-like in the movie Resident Evil possible? Of course! Not that the zombies in the movies are caused by a virus. In real life, viruses like Zika could change its neuroinvasive potential and create new syndromes, including chronic inflammation of brain, with features similar to the zombie phenotype. Those sounds very scary. You might want to escape to the deep jungles and peacefully live happily ever after. Until you realize that those little innocent fungi that lie beside you are also capable of turning you into a zombie. If you're an ant, these fungi, called Cordyceps for short, can infect foraging ants through spores that attach and penetrate the exoskeleton and slowly take over its behavior. The infected ant is compelled to leave its nest for a more humid microclimate that's favorable to the fungus growth. Meanwhile, the fungus feeds on the victim's innards until it's ready for the final stage. Several days after the ant has died, the fungus sends a fruiting body out to the base of the ant's head. The fungus can literally cast mind control through bioactive compounds that interfere with the ant's nervous system and control hosts directly at the muscles. Luckily, they only target ants, at least for now. Enough about all the scientific methods to make you a zombie. Let's assume that if the world is facing a serious zombie apocalypse and you're still not infected, luckily, what can you do? In this case, it is assumed that the spread of zombies is highly infectious, so it can cause an apocalypse. The first thing you need to do is to quarantine the infected and wait for a vaccine, which you are already quite used to. Of course, the easiest and fastest way would be fire a shotgun into the head of a zombie. But there are a lot of ways we can do before we kill the infected. As mentioned, zombies or zombie-like behaviors are mostly caused by abnormal brain activities. If you get the zombie to take an antidote or a surgery that targets several brain parts, it might not be necessary to kill the infected. For example, amygdala is an almond-shaped set of neurons located deep in the brain's middle temporal lobe. It processes emotions, so a damage to the amygdala can cause a lack of rational fear and anger, making their decision-making emotionless and zombie-like. The prefrontal cortex controls emotional responses. Damage can sometimes cause a lack of empathy. The parietal lobe is a part of the brain that interprets pain. If it's damaged, it might result in a lack of sensation in certain parts of the body, which also explains why it is not effective if you try to chop their arms off. They probably can't feel it. Fortunately, all the activities are monitored in our brains. If you get a good surgeon to target these brain parts, you should have a higher chance to revert a zombie into a human. Zombie films often end with a miracle cure or the arrival of an army. In reality, any diseases are rarely as powerful as those in the zombie films. We have immune systems. We can receive appropriate treatment and develop vaccines. From a scientific perspective, zombies are possible. So are prevention and the cure to them.